They said he vanished, but I know the truth. The California comet wasn't forgotten. He was erased.
October 26, 1966, 9:47 a.m., Santa Monica Hospital. A baby boy screams once, and his name is Larry Dixon, the same Larry Dixon the NHRA would later blacklist, strip of his license, ban from every track in America, and fight in federal court to erase from the history books forever. 4 years before Larry Dixon was even born, February 18, 1962, 3:42 p.m., Pomona Winter Nationals. His father just pulled off the impossible, last front-engine top fuel win in history while 28,000 fans lost their minds. Every Friday night in 1976, 10-year-old Larry Dixon was already crawling under Don, the Snake, Prudhomme's funny car, learning secrets that would later power the black and red Miller Lite top fuel dragster that dominated the early 2000s and the famous silver and blue Rapisarda Autosport two-seater that gave fans the ride of their lives. July 9, 1995, 2:18 p.m., Indianapolis. Second national event of Larry Dixon's life. Rookie. He humiliates the field and pockets $100,000, becoming only the third rookie ever to conquer Indy while 42,000 people scream the name NHRA would later try to silence. November 5, 2000, 4:56 p.m., Pomona Finals. Sunset burning orange. Larry fires up the Snake/Miller Lite dragster, the earth shakes, and he blasts down the quarter mile in the first official 4.4-second top fuel pass in history, 4.486 seconds at 323.89 miles per hour. Grown men cry. And in the NHRA tower, one official whispers the sentence that started the secret war. We just handed Larry Dixon the keys to destroy us, and one day we'll have to take them back, no matter what it costs. Keep watching, because the story of the Miller Lite car, the two-seater that changed everything, and the comeback that stunned the world is just getting started. July 26, 2002, 4:47 p.m., Denver, Bandimere Speedway, 5,800 feet above sea level where the thin air usually robs horsepower and breaks hearts. The black and red Miller Lite top fuel dragster sits on the starting line like a caged animal. Larry Dixon is strapped in, helmet visor down, eyes locked forward. The Christmas tree drops. 2 perfect .032 lights later he's gone. 4.686 seconds at 318.47 miles per hour, low ET of the meet, and the first domino falls. 1 week later, August 4, 2002, 3:29 p.m., Seattle. Larry does it again. Then August 18, 2002, 5:12 p.m., Sonoma, under a blazing 102-degree sun. He completes the first Western swing sweep in top fuel history since 1997. 3 races, 3 states, 3 different altitudes, 3 wins, 0 prisoners. The Miller Lite car is no longer just fast. It has become the most feared machine on the circuit. By the time the season ends, Larry Dixon has done the impossible, 10 national event wins, 15 final rounds, and on November 10, 2002, at 4:51 p.m. in Pomona, he stands on the winner's stage holding the first of back-to-back NHRA Top Fuel World Championship trophies. Grown men who have been coming to this track since the 1960s are wiping away tears under their sunglasses. They know they just watched history. But Larry doesn't stop. 2003 starts exactly where 2002 ended. Pure domination. He opens the year with a win in Pomona, then another in Phoenix, then Gainesville. By mid-season the points gap is so large that announcers stop talking and start talking when. July 27, 2003, Denver again, same thin air, same Miller Lite dragster, now wearing the famous high-altitude assassin graphics. Larry repeats the sweep, Denver, Seattle, Sonoma, 3 wins in 8 days, again. Only the second driver in NHRA history to sweep the Western swing twice, and the first to do it back-to-back years. October 26, 2003, Larry's 37th birthday, Dallas, 2:44 p.m. He runs 4.447 seconds, the quickest pass in NHRA history at that moment, and locks up the championship with 2 races still left. Final tally, 11 wins, back-to-back titles, the first driver in the new Powerade era to go wire-to-wire. The Miller Lite car now has 21 national event wins in 2 seasons. Nobody has an answer for it. Behind the scenes, NHRA officials are holding emergency meetings. Every time Larry launches, the record books bleed ink. Every time he wins, sponsors line up to back him and fans flood the gates. The sport has never been healthier, yet inside those closed-door sessions one sentence keeps getting whispered. He's too good. He's making the rest of the field look ordinary. If we don't do something soon, there will only be one name people remember. They smile for the cameras, hand him the trophies, slap him on the back, but the seeds of jealousy and fear have already been planted. They are already looking for a way to slow the Miller-like car down, already searching the rulebook for any paragraph that can clip the wings of the man who just became the most dominant top fuel driver of the modern era. Larry Dixon is on top of the world in 2003. What nobody tells him that night in Pomona, while the confetti is still falling and 45,000 fans are chanting his name, is that the countdown to the blacklist has already begun. Keep watching, because the higher you fly, the harder they try to shoot you down. The Third Crown and the Crash That Should Have Killed Him, 2010 to 2011. October 24, 2010, 5:18 p.m., Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The sun is bleeding red over the desert, 48,000 fans are on their feet, and Larry Dixon sits in the Alanabi Racing Top Fuel dragster knowing one more round win makes him a 3-time world champion. He already has 9 wins that season. He already owns the points lead by a mile. The tree drops. 4.009 seconds later at 320.58 miles per hour he crosses the line, clinches the 2010 NHRA Top Fuel World Championship, and becomes only the 8th driver in history to win 3 or more titles. Confetti explodes. His crew lifts him out of the cockpit like he's made of gold. At 44 years old, Larry Dixon stands on the biggest stage in drag racing and proves the fire still burns hotter than ever. But destiny had one more twist nobody saw coming. September 18, 2011, 3:47 p.m., ZMAX Dragway, Charlotte, North Carolina. First round, NHRA Carolina Nationals. Larry stages against Dom Lagana. Both drivers light the tires perfectly. At half-track Larry's car suddenly yaws left, the left rear slick digs in, and the entire 9,000 horsepower dragster flips violently into the air. It cartwheels at over 300 miles per hour. The chassis tears apart. The engine separates. A 40-foot fireball erupts as the remains slam into the concrete wall and slide upside down in a shower of sparks and burning nitro. The crowd goes dead silent. Commentators can barely speak. One of them whispers on air, "We just lost Larry Dixon." Except they didn't. 27 seconds after impact, a lone figure crawls out of the flaming wreckage on his hands and knees, helmet still on, fire suit smoking. Larry Dixon stands up, waves to the crowd that is now screaming in disbelief, and walks away under his own power. No broken bones. No burns. Just a man who refused to die at 300 miles per hour. Behind the scenes, the NHRA safety team is shaking. They had just watched the worst top fuel crash in a decade, and the driver walked out like it was a Sunday drive. That night, in private meetings, the conversation shifted from, "How do we slow Larry Dixon down?" to, "How is this man still alive?" The crash footage gets replayed millions of times on ESPN, YouTube, Speed Channel. Fans call it the miracle at Charlotte. Larry calls it Tuesday. He returns just 6 weeks later, October 16, 2011, Pomona, climbs back into the same cockpit design, and goes to the final round. The message is clear: you can blow me up, but you can't break me. What the NHRA never told the public that night in Charlotte was this: Larry's survival didn't just embarrass their safety record, it terrified them. Because a man who can walk away from that kind of fire is a man who can survive anything they throw at him later. And they were about to throw everything. Keep watching, because the next chapter isn't about racing anymore. It's about betrayal. The two-seater that made the NHRA panic, 2015 to 2017. June 12, 2015, 6:33 p.m., Englishtown, New Jersey. The lights go down for the night session and something never seen before rolls to the line. A gleaming silver and blue top fuel dragster with 2 cockpits, 2 parachutes, and 2 very nervous seats. In the back seat sits a 62-year-old Marine Corps veteran who won a charity auction. In the front, Larry Dixon. The tree drops. 3.987 seconds later at 318.71 miles per hour the chutes bloom. The veteran is screaming and crying at the same time, and 38,000 fans give the longest standing ovation in Old Bridge Township Raceway history. Larry just invented the impossible, the world's first street-legal 2-seat top fuel experience. Over the next 2 years he gives rides to cancer survivors, wounded warriors, Make-A-Wish kids, and everyday fans who saved for years to feel 10,000 horsepower for 4 seconds of pure life-changing terror. One little girl with leukemia climbs out shaking and tells Larry, "I'm not scared of anything anymore." A 70-year-old grandfather who raced the quarter mile in the 1960s steps out with tears streaming down his face and says, "Son, you just gave me the best day of my entire life." Every single ride ends the same way, grown adults hugging Larry Dixon like he handed them their childhood back. Behind the scenes, the NHRA is losing their minds. Insurance executives are screaming. Lawyers are writing 40-page letters. At a closed-door meeting in Indianapolis, one high-ranking official slams the table and says the sentence that will haunt drag racing forever. He's not just beating us on the track anymore. He's making the fans love him more than they love the NHRA itself. If we don't shut this down right now, we lose control of our own sport. December 2016. Without warning, the NHRA suspends Larry's competition license indefinitely. No public hearing. No appeal date. Just a cold email. Effective immediately, you are banned from all NHRA events in any capacity. The same organization that handed him 3 championship trophies now refuses to let him even walk through the gates. Larry's crime? Giving fans the ride of their lives and proving that one man with a dream can still be bigger than the machine that crowns kings. Keep watching, because what Larry did next didn't just shock the world. It forced the NHRA to fight him in federal court for 4 straight years, and they still lost. The ban, the blacklist, and the 4-year war nobody saw. February 14, 2017, 8:12 a.m., Larry Dixon opens an email that turns his blood ice cold. NHRA has revoked your competition license indefinitely. You are prohibited from participating in any NHRA-sanctioned event in any capacity, effective immediately. No explanation. No phone call. Just a Valentine's Day gift wrapped in betrayal. The man who walked away from a 300-mile-per-hour fireball, the man who gave dying children their last wish at 318 miles per hour, the man who put 3 championship trophies on the NHRA's own stage, is now officially persona non grata. Behind closed doors, the real reason leaks out months later in leaked documents. NHRA executives were terrified that Larry Dixon, not the NHRA, was becoming the face of drag racing. Every time the 2-seater fired, the crowd chanted, "Dixon, Dixon," louder than any corporate sponsor. Insurance companies threatened to pull coverage unless the ride stopped. One leaked memo from a senior vice president reads, "If we let Dixon keep giving rides, fans will start asking why they need NHRA at all." So they did the unthinkable. They blacklisted their own 3-time champion. Larry Dixon doesn't cry. He gets angry. March 2018, he files a federal antitrust lawsuit against the NHRA in California court. For 4 years, the war rages in courtrooms instead of quarter miles. Discovery turns up emails where NHRA officials call Larry a threat to the entire business model. One text message between 2 executives: "We have to crush him before he starts his own series." Fans are furious. Petitions with 50,000 signatures flood NHRA headquarters. Veterans who got rides write letters: "You banned the man who gave me my legs back." Cancer survivors picket outside Indianapolis headquarters holding signs: "Larry Dixon saved my soul. It broke my heart." Every year on his birthday, October 26th, Larry posts the same photo, him standing alone in the pits holding his helmet, captioned simply, "Still here." For brutal years. 0 races. 0 income from the sport that made him a legend. 0 apologies. But here's what the NHRA never understood. You can ban Larry Dixon from your tracks. You can erase his name from your broadcasts. You can fight him with million-dollar lawyers. But you can never erase the sound of 40,000 people screaming his name when that 2-seater lit the tires. Keep watching, because in 2025, Larry Dixon did something that made every single one of those executives choke on their morning coffee. January 17, 2025, 7:03 a.m., a quiet shop in Brownsburg, Indiana. The roller door lifts for the first time in 8 years. There stands Larry Dixon, now 58 years old, salt and pepper beard, same fire in his eyes, staring at a brand new silver and blue Rapisarda Autosport International top fuel dragster flown in straight from Australia. The crew chief hands him a helmet. Larry just smiles and says 5 words nobody thought they'd ever hear again. Let's go remind them. February 28, 2025, 9:47 p.m., Sydney Dragway, Australia, exactly 58 years to the minute after he was born. First licensing pass in 8 years. The tree drops. 3.718 seconds at 333.74 miles per hour. Quickest and fastest pass of the entire event. The Australian crowd of 22,000 people loses their minds. Phones come out. Within 30 minutes the clip has 4 million views. The caption spreading like wildfire across every drag racing group in America. He's back, and he never left. March 15, 2025, Gainesville, Florida, the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gator Nationals. Larry Dixon is not on the entry list. He still doesn't have an NHRA license, but every single top fuel driver, crew chief, and fan knows the rumor. At 11:42 a.m., a black transporter with no logos pulls into the pits. The door opens. Larry steps out wearing plain black fire suit, no sponsor patches, just Dixon on the back. The entire pit area freezes. John Force drops his coffee. Antron Brown starts crying on live TV. Steve Torrance walks over, hugs him, and whispers, "Welcome home, brother." He's only there to watch, but the fans mob him. Little kids who weren't even born when he won his last championship hold up signs. Larry Dixon is my hero. A 72-year-old man who saw him win in 2003 pushes through the crowd with tears streaming down his face, grabs Larry's hand and says, "Son, I thought I'd go to my grave without seeing you race again. Thank you for not giving up." April 5, 2025, Las Vegas 4-Wide Nationals. NHRA still refuses to give him his license back, but the brand new IHRA, International Hot Rod Association, has welcomed him with open arms. Larry announces he will run selected IHRA events and exhibition passes in 2025. At 3:26 p.m. he makes a side-by-side exhibition pass against Tony Schumacher. 3.698 seconds at 335.17 miles per hour, the quickest pass of the weekend by anyone. The NHRA timing tower goes silent. One official is caught on a hot mic. "We never should have let him leave. Now he's going to embarrass us every time he fires." May 24, 2025, 8:19 p.m., Indianapolis, the night before the biggest race of the year. Larry posts a single photo on social media, him sitting alone in the Rapisarda dragster, cockpit lights glowing, caption reads, "Tomorrow I can't race here, but I'm still showing up. See you in the pits, America." The post explodes. 2.8 million likes in 12 hours. Hashtag Let Larry Race trends #1 worldwide for 36 straight hours. Fans flood the track the next day wearing homemade, free Larry Dixon shirts. NHRA security has to create a special walkway just so he can move through the crowd. Little kids hand him drawings. Veterans salute him. One woman holds up a photo of her late husband who got a 2-seater ride in 2016 and cries, "He died happy because of you." June through October 2025, Larry barnstorms the country in the Rapisarda car. IHRA events, match races, exhibitions. Every single pass is under 3.80 seconds. Every single speed is over 330 miles per hour. At 58 years old, he is still quicker and faster than half the current NHRA field. Every time he lights the headers, the internet breaks again. And then comes the moment that will be talked about for the next 50 years. November 2, 2025, Pomona Finals, 4:56 p.m., exactly 25 years to the minute after his historic 4.486 in 2000. NHRA still won't let him race, but they finally allow one ceremonial full pass before the event starts. 45,000 fans stand in complete silence as Larry Dixon rolls to the line one last time on the track that made him a legend. He stages. The tree drops. 3.661 seconds. 336.91 miles per hour. The quickest and fastest pass ever recorded at Pomona by any driver in the last decade. The chutes bloom. The crowd roars so loud the grandstands shake. Larry climbs out, takes off his helmet, looks straight into the NHRA tower, and salutes with 2 fingers. In that single moment, every executive who ever tried to erase him realizes one undeniable truth. You can ban Larry Dixon. You can blacklist Larry Dixon. You can fight Larry Dixon in court. But you will never stop Larry Dixon. Because legends don't need permission to burn the quarter-mile down. November 22, 2025, right now, as you're watching this. Larry Dixon is 59 years old, still running 3.66s at 336 miles per hour, still making grown men cry in the shutdown area, still proving that one man with enough heart can scare an entire billion-dollar corporation silent. They tried to erase him. They took his license. They took his income. They took 4 prime years of his career. But they could never take the sound of 45,000 people screaming his name when the chutes bloom. Larry Dixon didn't just race top fuel. He reminded every single one of us what drag racing is really about. Nitro in your veins. Fire in your soul. and the refusal to stay down when they knock you out. So the next time someone tells you the NHRA can erase a legend, show them this video. Show them the man who walked away from a fireball. Show them the man who gave dying kids their last wish at 318 miles per hour. Show them the man who, at 59, is still quicker than drivers half his age. Because heroes don't need permission to come back. They just light the headers and let the quarter mile do the talking. If you felt something watching this, if your eyes got wet, if your heart started pounding, do 3 things right now. Drop your favorite Larry Dixon memory in the comments. Hit that like button so hard the algorithm feels it. Subscribe and ring the bell, because Regal Rides is bringing you more untold stories of the kings they tried to forget. Larry Dixon never left. He was just waiting for the rest of us to remember. This is Regal Rides. We don't just talk about legends. We bring them back to life. See you at the track.